Dambho darpobhimanascha krodhav parushyameva cha ajnanam chabhijatasya partha sampadam. Yes. O Partha, these are the Aasuri Sampat. What are they? Dambha, Darpaha, Abhimanaha. In some text it will be Atimanaha. There is a variation. Abhimanaha, Krodhaha, Parushyam, Ajnanam. How many? 6. 6 vices are mentioned here. In this, the one vice, one negative trait which brings in everything else is Abhimanaha, the one thing which is the mother of all vices. Along with this one thing called Abhimana, everything else comes. Earlier in Daivi Sampat, it was Natimanita, humility. Humility is a Daivi Sampat. Arrogance, ego, self-conceit, it is Aasuri Sampat. Now, if you observe this world, if you observe our existence in this world, it is very easy to become humble. The Supreme Lord, out of compassion, has designed the world in such a way that every one of us can be humble. Yes or no? Just pay attention to the realities of life, that itself is enough to become humble. By ourselves, we don't have anything. Even our existence depends upon infinite number of countless factors. If you start counting, what are the things needed to exist on this planet? How many factors can you count? It is infinite. Food, shelter, clothing, air, water, humidity, temperature. Externally. Internally again. Kidney, liver, brain, everything has to function. How many factors can you count? Each and every cell has to function. Nervous system has to function. Now, how many factors are in our control? Not even one, isn't it? So we are alive because of the grace of God. We are alive because all these infinite factors have come in a harmonious way, in a conducive way. Who has brought all these factors together? Can we claim that we have brought it? No. The truth is, even the existence we have, it doesn't belong to us. It has been given to us. Again, the abilities and talents because of which we are proud of, can we claim that it is ours? The greatest thinker doesn't know how the brain is functioning. The greatest singer doesn't know how the vocal cord is functioning. The fastest runner doesn't know how the legs are functioning, isn't it? Think in this way for everything. You will find whatever we claim to be ours, actually it is not ours. It has been given to us. It is a loving gift from the Creator. Even if you don't believe in God, one thing is for sure, these things don't belong to me, isn't it? So this arrogance or ego is a perfect sign of ignorance, ajnanam. And you will find in life, all our suffering is because of this ahankar, this ego, which has no existence at all. Ego is something created by our own wrong analysis of life. So if you want to have a peaceful life, happy life, just puncture this ego. Never revel in the joys offered by this ego. Ego has its own joys. Never be tempted by those joys. Ego is that thing which kicks out the Lord who is present in our heart. The heart can be ruled either by the ego or the Lord. The question is, who is ruling your heart? Is the ego ruling your heart or the Lord ruling your heart? A person with Devi Sampat, what will he do? He will make the Lord rule his heart. Bhagwan, I am a nobody, you are everything. Then that means what? You allow Bhagwan to rule you. You allow Bhagwan to rule your life. You make Bhagwan your boss, your master. You surrender to Bhagwan. What does this egoistic person do? Bhagwan is sidelined, ignored, discarded, and now he takes the credit of whatever he has and whatever he has done. This is Abhiman, ego. Now, first of all, we have to understand the ego also provides certain joys. What is the joy of the ego? An egoistic person is joyous when he is praised. An egoistic person becomes happy when he is awarded and rewarded, when he is recognized, when his possessions increase, when his power increase, when his influence increase. There is a joy. There is a subtle joy in our heart when we are egoistic. It is this joy which tempts the person to stick on to the ego and not drop the ego. Whenever you attain something in life, achieve something in life, immediately the ego raises its hood to claim that attainment. To say that it is mine, it is my achievement. Ego raises its hood. And when you claim that attainment, there is a joy. So you have to understand what is true joy and what is false joy. All the joys offered by the ego is the false joy. Never be tempted by it. Right? There is a joy of winning. There is a joy of conquering. There is a joy of defeating. What joy is it? It is not the sattvic joy. It is a rajasic joy or the egoistic joy. All these joys born out of competition, proving that somebody is inferior and you are superior. There is a joy. If you revel in that joy, understand that joy will very soon convert into sorrow. Because every time you revel in an egoistic joy, the ego is increasing. Ego is strengthening. Now this egoistic person doesn't know the joy of meditation, the joy of devotion, the joy of selflessness, the joy of service. There are a lot of joys which are much, much higher than the egoistic joys. This egoistic person is yet to be aware of the higher joys. He is only aware of the lower joys. A sattvic person, a person with Daivi Sampat, he experiences the higher joy, therefore he is able to drop the lower joys of the ego. And that is why he becomes Natimanita. He becomes egoless. Because the moment you claim the egoistic joy, the joy of the divine becomes absent. There is a joy of devotion. There is a joy of being connected to God. That is sattvic joy. But you can access this joy, you can experience this joy as long as the ego is not ruling your heart. The moment ego rules your heart, you are disconnected from the divine. You are now connected to the ego. The possessions of the ego, the achievements of the ego becomes yours. But all that which you receive from the divine, it is cut off. So a sattvic person is very much aware which is the highest. He has experienced both, and he has found that this divine joy is much, much of subtler nature, higher nature than the egoistic joy. So therefore, when a comparison comes, when a question of choice comes, he is easily able to drop the lower egoistic joy, and he is able to catch the higher divine joy. But what is the sacrifice here? You have to sacrifice your ego in order to taste the divine joy. This is the condition. Are you ready to sacrifice yourself? Then you will get the higher. Very many times what happens is we are not able to sacrifice because we are so attached to these egoistic pleasures. So when you are not able to sacrifice your ego, you will not be able to experience the higher. So this is the difference between the people with Daivi Sampat and people with Aasuri Sampat. Daivi Sampat people, they drop the ego and gain the higher joy of the Lord. Aasuri people, they are not aware of the higher joy, they are stuck in the lower joys, which is nothing but pain, which they are not aware. So the root cause of all the evil trait in us is this ahankara, which is actually the asura in us. Asura means what? Rakshasa. A devil. Who is this devil? Don't imagine somebody there in different lokas and all. No. This asura is none other than our own ego, which is ever ready to raise its hood. Aasuri Sampat, the Sampat of the ego. In short. Asura. What is Asura? Asusu ramante iti asuraha. Who are Asuras? Those who revel in Asu. Asu means prana, means sense organs. Those who revel in sense pleasures, they are called as Asuras. This is the definition of Asura. Those who revel in Vishaya Bhoga, the sense pleasures. Now this reveling in sense pleasure, what kind of joy is it? It is not the sattvic joy, it is a rajasic, egoistic joy. An egoistic person revels in sense pleasures. Now we are going to discuss the condition of this egoistic person. So what is his greatest asset? He has considered himself to be the body. There is a lot of ego in him. So when will he become more happy? When somebody praises him, when he achieves in life, isn't it? There are all the ways in which, so he has experienced that whenever somebody is praising me, I am happy. So I should do all those things by which I will be praised. So what has to be done? See the first one, Dambha. Dambha is automatic for an Abhimani person. Dambha means pomp and show. Whatever you have, you want to show it to the others. Whatever good things you have, not the negative things. All goody things you will expose it in the public so that others will see it, others will praise you. What you want is praise. Because praise is giving you happiness. How will you get praise from others? Unless others know what all good things you have, how will they praise you? So therefore, exhibit all your achievements, awards, rewards, etc. in the external world so that others' eyes fall on them and they are compelled to praise you. They will create all situations in such a way that more and more praise come to them. So that in the others' eyes, these people are respected and revered. So therefore, in such people's houses, if you go, what will you see? You will not see the photos of gods and goddesses. You will see their own photos everywhere. Here the person is awarded, there the person is recognized. Yes or no? Another corner, all the medals will be there. What all medals that person has. One shelf is created for that. In that shelf, everything is kept. Beautifully arranged. So that whoever comes, he'll be waiting there in the drawing hall or whatever. And when nothing else is there, he will look around. And when he look around, he has to see these things. Such prominent places these things are kept. All the big awards. Because you yourself telling about you, it is not good. Let he himself know it. In such places, these things are kept. Isn't it? They are all the expressions of ego. I want love and respect from others. For that, let others know my achievements, my greatness. This is called dambha. Pomp and show. Ostentation is what it is called. In one house I went, there was a photo, and this person was shaking hand with the then President of America. So when that person came, I asked, did you really go there? Did President of America, American President, did he really? You met him? No, Swamiji, it is Photoshop. Photoshop means what? He is shaking hand with somebody else, so that person has chopped off his head and the American president head is put there. Bas. Because today in computer you can do anything and you can't even make out. Isn't it? Now why is he trying to do that? Normally nobody will ask this. And because when Swamiji asks, he tells the truth. That's a different matter. So this person said, no Swamiji, this is only that. I never went there. Somewhere that deep desire is there that others should appreciate me. Even though I don't have that particular value, but still I try to prove that I have that value, that virtue. Look, all these politicians, etc. Whenever they give something in charity, they call all newspaper people. Media is called. And then in front of the media, the whole thing is given. So what is important? Giving is not important. Others knowing that I am a great giver, I am a philanthropist, this is more important. Dambha is natural for a person who is Abhimani, because his joy resides in expanding the ego. And the one way to expand the ego is gain more and more respect from others. And this is possible only when you exhibit whatever good things you have, even those things which you don't have, you try to exhibit it. You try to show off. Now all these things we are discussing not to say that this person is like that, that person. No. This discussion is to look within. Each one should look within. Am I of this type? Is there somewhere where I am trying to do this? Maybe unknowingly. If somebody is praising you and you are becoming happy, understand this dambha is there. Meaning Abhimana is there. What is the sign of a person with Devi Sampat? When somebody praises, he shrinks. He doesn't like, he becomes embarrassed. But a person with an ego, when somebody praises him, his chest expands with pride. He loves to hear. It's a nectarian for him. Those are nectarian words. It is called dambha. Trying to show off. Trying to create an image that I'm a great man, I'm an influential person, I know so many things, I'm a knowledgeable person. What happens is, this egoistic person becomes a beggar in the world. What is he doing? He's begging for happiness. When somebody praises him, he is happy. When nobody is praising him, he is unhappy. So what does it mean? His praise, his happiness comes from the other people. So what is he doing then? For more and more happiness, he is literally begging from everyone. He has purchased a very, necklace or something. So let us say some ring. Very many times he will do this, so that the other person will see the ring. And if the other person is not watching it, he becomes miserable. I'm trying to show and still he is not seeing. But then you say, oh, this ring so nice. From where did you get it? And then he becomes full of life. He is a slave of the world. Miserable is his condition, actually speaking. It is very easy to disturb the mind of an egoistic person. What you should do? It is very easy, because he is a person who is attached to so many things. Now one more thing, keep this in mind. Ahankara is always connected to mamakara. How do you expand your ego? You expand your ego with knowledge, with talent, with ability, etc. That is one thing. You also expand your ego with possessions of the world. Bigger car, ego becomes little big. Bigger house, ego again becomes little big. With possessions, you try to expand the ego. So in short, what happens? This person is attached to so many things because he has so many possessions. Greater the possessions, greater the ego. Greater the possessions, greater the attachment. So therefore, Since greater is the attachment towards the world, it's very easy to disturb him. Wherever there is attachment, there is a potential disturbance hidden, isn't it? And that is why Krodha term has come here. Krodha, anger. Whenever somebody meddles with the things of your attachment, you can't stand it. You become irritable in nature. The irritability level of an egoistic person is very high. Now here, two terms are used, Darpaha and Abhimanaha. Both are really speaking the same. But since both the terms are mentioned, we'll have to slightly make a differentiation. What is the difference between Darpa and Abhimana? Abhimana is the feeling in the heart, a feeling of superiority complex. Darpa is the expression in the outside world of this inner feeling. So Darpa is more of an external expression, outward expression. For example, an egoistic person tends to disrespect others. So that becomes an outward expression. The outward expression of ego is called Darpa. The feeling inside is called Abhimana. So for such a person, Krodha, he is always, anger is at the tip of his nose, as they say. Irritability level is very, very high. For every little things, he becomes irritable. The key of his happiness is in everybody else's pocket, as they say. Then, Parushyam is natural to him. Parushyam means harsh words, being very harsh, impolite, rude, insensitive. Parushyam is just the opposite of Mardava. Mardava means softness, being tender, being gentle. This is just the opposite. He is very harsh. He is very rude. Towards whom? Not towards someone who is higher than him. No. According to him, whoever has greater possession, position, wealth, etc., they are great people. They are people to be worshipped. He keeps good contacts with them because the company of such people are very much essential in this world. Then he is rude towards whom? Those people who are poor. Wealth-wise poor, ability-wise poor, not very great people, ordinary people, simple people. Towards them, his attitude is rudeness, contempt. They are mere burdens on the earth. That is his attitude. Such people totally ignore the common man. And what about the knowledge of this person? Ajnanam. The greater the ego, the lesser the knowledge. This person can never gain knowledge of anything. Why? In order to gain knowledge, you must bow down in front of people who have knowledge, isn't it? Bowing down is one thing which is unknown to him. So therefore he remains an ajnani. He is like the peak of the mountain. Whatever the rain falls there, will the water remain there? No, it comes down. An embodiment of ignorance. But he himself thinks he knows everything. He is like a cup upturned. You can never fill it. A person who thinks that I know everything, you can never teach that person. You can never give any knowledge to that person. Why? He is closed inside. In a closed vessel, how can you fill anything?